The clock strikes midnight, and we are live here on Recher Reacts. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jay Recher. Welcome to the program. Hope everybody had a wonderful Wednesday, whether you're here in the Tampa Bay area or watching from abroad. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube at Jay Recher. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel here. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so whenever I go live, you can hear what we're talking about here on the program. Wow, what a night. I just got home from softball. Pendingos with a big 30-13 win. I'm actually rocking my Montgomery Biscuits, actually Tampa Biscuits shirt here because, of course, we got to show love to the Tampa Bay Rays as well. Plenty to get into tonight on the program. I want to talk about the role social media plays in the sports world. And unfortunately, there's bad and ugly that go with the good. We'll also talk about two of the biggest heels in professional wrestling right now with Dominic Mysterio on WWE and Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, in AEW. And which one is better? Which one do you prefer? I don't know if many people have really posed that question, but these are two guys that are at the top of their game and they have no issues and no problems getting booed on a daily, even or weekly, even daily basis. Guys are doing a really good job. Which one is which? Which one is better? Love to hear from you guys. You always are encouraged to comment and leave some questions, comments, concerns there, and I will do my best to bring them on the show and do my best to answer them to the best of my capability. And also, finally, finally, after years of wondering if it's ever going to happen, it was announced today that I will be officially throwing the first pitch out before the game on Monday night at Tropicana Field. That's September 2nd. Rays and Twins. Hopefully, you can make it out there. I know it's Labor Day, so you won't be going to work that day for the most of you. So head on over to raystickets.com, Tampa Bay Rays, or raysbaseball.com. And yeah, we want to see you out at the Trop because I got something special in store. People keep saying, "Oh, don't bounce it." We'll get into it a little bit later on. But I wanted to start tonight talking about social media and the role it has in the sports world. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it tonight is because of this story that just came out from tennis player Caroline Garcia, who has detailed online abuse after getting bounced at the US Open. And for Caroline Garcia, just a semifinalist just 2 years ago at the US Open, she shared some of the things that people have said to her on social media. And she pointed to unhealthy betting as one of the reasons that players are targeted on social media. And, just to hear some of the things that people are saying to her, I hope your mom dies soon. Like what are we doing? What is going on in the world today? Now, I love social media. I think there's a lot of good that comes with it. I think when you can keep in contact with friends and family members, especially ones that don't live close, I think that's a fantastic resource to have. I think about what we just dealt with in the last 24 to 48 hours when it comes to WWE, excuse me, not WWE, with football teams narrowing their rosters to 53 players and seeing all the people that were cut and people that were picked up on waivers, people going from one team to the other. Like the role that social media plays in how we cover sports now, it's it's invaluable. Like you really can't put a monetary value on it. And there's a lot of good that comes from it, spreading good words and letting people know what's new. Like I let people know today about the first pitch. I mean, there's a lot of good in lying in social media, but unfortunately that doesn't get a high percentage at all of what people are invested in, or the majority of the people that are using social media for. What are they using that platform for? A lot of it is negativity. A lot of it is just bad and ugly stuff. So while there is good, I think the majority of it is probably not so great. And when you look at this story with Caroline Garcia, this is a tennis player who is 30 years old. She's from France. She's ranked as high as number 4. She doesn't seem to be, she doesn't seem to deserve any of this type of stuff. She plays her butt off. And unfortunately, she has to go back to her social media after losing in the US Open and come back to messages of, I hope your mom dies soon. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? I'm all for free speech. I'm all for people out there having social media and they're entitled to their opinion. That's fine. But all this hateful rhetoric, it's bullshit, to be honest with you. It's horrible. Like, what are we doing? We got to be better as a society. And she's not the only one. You read the article on ESPN, and Francis Tiafoe, also a semifinalist at the U.S. Open 2 years ago, he quotes, "People are saying outlandish stuff. It's just wild." Bianca Andreescu, the 2019 U.S. Open champion, I try not to look at the comments. It's like that, not just for high level tennis players, but it's also like that for us on the radio. You should see some of the things people say to us. And it's not just like a blanket of criticism. You should see some of the things that people say to us. It's horrible. It's terrible. And I know it's easy on the outside to be like, oh, don't worry about it. Just forget about it. Yeah, okay. It's easier said than done. And it's not just people talking about like, oh, they don't like your opinion or they think you're like not talented. It's not that. It's personal attacks, stuff that you would never show your mother, would never show your grandma. I half-heartedly joke about that for our text line, the Bartow 4 DAE text line. Some of the things that people say on there, hard, hard. And as much as I love the fact that we do have social media to give people an opportunity to speak their mind freely and give their opinion, the fact that we have a bunch of Twitter tough guys and keyboard warriors that think that they can say whatever the hell they want to people and not have any semblance of punishment or consequences, that's something that needs to change. And if we think that it just stops with tennis, if you think it just stops with Caroline Garcia, now this has been going on. And don't give me the, oh, this is just an America type thing. It's not. It doesn't stop in the United States. Look 2 years ago. Zhu Yi, she was a figure skater for China in the 2022 Olympics. She falls, she didn't do well at all, and she goes back and she gets so heavily criticized on Weibo, which is the Chinese equivalent of Twitter, and they had to delete over 300 posts and suspended accounts because of the vicious level of attack that she was getting. Look farther back, 2 years before that, the European Championships of Soccer in 2020, where England lost in the final on penalty kicks, and three guys that missed the kicks, Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford, and Jadon Sancho, they were tore to shreds on social media. And not like, oh, they suck, you're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Hundreds of racial epithets, hundreds of just absolutely despicable words and despicable comments thrown their way. Like at what point is there regulation needed? I mean, it sucks to say that because we don't want to ever completely take away people's full speech, or free speech rather. You're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Excuse me. You want people to have their opinions, but if it's like this, is it really worth it? Is Twitter really worth it? I mean, get a crap load of information on there. I enjoy it. There's a lot of funny stuff on there, the memes, the videos. But when we have things like this, when people use these social media platforms, they use these text lines to spew hatred, like you're not doing any good. And I don't want to hear this isn't the same thing about people and you want to talk about people not being as tough as they once were and they need to kind of, you know, pull up your boot pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get back to work and stop being so sensitive. It's not the same thing. This isn't the same thing as people copping out and people not trying to work hard. This is two totally different things. So let's not fall into the same category of lumping them together because they're not. It's not the same. We do have a problem with people not wanting to work hard and people not wanting to persevere through tough times. That is completely true. But don't try to lump this in with it like it's the same thing. It's not. In no way, shape, or form should ra- hateful, racist comments towards athletes, towards radio hosts, towards anybody. It doesn't matter how high profile you are. We should be better. We need to be better. Look at Vinicius Jr., one of the greatest soccer players in the world. He loves playing for Real Madrid, but he hates playing there because of the constant racial abuse. They're wondering if they're going to have to take the team off the field the next time they hear something over there in Spain. He hears it all the time, and it's been like this for years. And don't give me like, oh, he's just soft. He doesn't care. This is one of the best players in the world. He's a Champions League winner. This is one of the best left wingers that we see on this planet. He's not soft. Who the hell should have to go through that? Why do people have to go through that? I don't get it. I don't get it. And it needs to stop. And you wonder, and I'm trying to look at things from all perspectives now. We talk about the Deion Sanders situation with the columnists out there at the Denver Post. And for a guy like Deion, full of bravado and doing good things in Colorado. You just saw he opened up bank accounts for all the fathers that are on their team for, their children and trying to set them up for prosperity in the future. I think that's an awesome thing. Just because we don't necessarily agree with what Dion has done as far as how he interacts with the people in the media, I don't think that should blanket. I don't think that should completely, um, comprise what we should think of him. But if you look at it from Dion's point of view, right, with this writer in the Denver Post pretty much saying whatever the hell he wants, the BS meter, he's towing the line. And for years, columnists have had carte blanche to kind of do whatever they want. But if the attacks are personal, if it's hateful, where is the line? Where is the line? We want all of our athletes to be more open and honest and transparent. And then everybody says, "Oh, well, you're a professional athlete. You make millions of dollars. You should be able to deal with it." All right. Well, I think that's fair for the criticism, right? If you're saying that somebody needs to be better, if you're pointing out some of the things they're not doing correctly, I think that's fair game. And they should have to deal with stuff like that. But at the end of the day, part of the reason why you love the athletes on the teams that you cheer for is that there's they're kind of like you, right? At the end of the day, when you see Victor Hedman with his puppy, you're like, oh, he's a dog lover. I love Victor Hedman. When you see Steven Stamkos playing with his kids, you're like, yeah, I'm a parent too. It humanizes them. You don't look at them in that instance as a millionaire, as a professional athlete. You love them because you can relate to them. So let's not forget when these professional athletes they catch this hateful rhetoric on social media. As much as we think, or as much as you may think, oh, they should be able to deal with it. They're millionaires. Let's not forget they're humans too. You can say be the bigger person. You can say bite your tongue, but not everybody's like that. I don't argue with people on social media. Not ever going to do it. I'll have a conversation back and forth, maybe a little point, counterpoint, very, very few and far between. I don't want to get down in the mud like that. That suits me no purpose. My co-host Zach Blomner, on the other hand, he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind rolling his sleeves up and getting dirty and slinging some mud back and forth. Hey, to each their own, man. To each their own. But you should see some of the things that we get on our social media platforms and on our text line. I'm not saying that because I want you to feel bad for me. I'm just saying that as just a heads up that we need to all be better and we need to check each other. If you see people that are saying things like that, and again, not just criticism, not a disagreement, not a difference of opinion, but hate speech, racial epithets, going overboard. I think that's the crazy thing to me is that I think a lot of people know where the line is. You know where that line is. You know when you see something on social media, you're like, whoa, that's a little much. And unfortunately, we see a ton of it in politics because politics is here to divide the country, to pit you against each other, one or the other. I'm a guy that toes that line right in the middle, and I watch Republicans and Democrats. I watch conservatives and liberals, And you guys will just find anything to throw out there to hate on each other. Again, it's one thing to have a differing opinion, but my goodness, if you are spending your entire day looking for ways to impair somebody else's life, what the hell does that say about you? Think about that. Some people's entire goal in their life is to stay on social media and just talk shit to people. What the hell does that say about you? We have to do better. We have to check each other. If you see people out there that are doing it and you know them, like let them know, man. Like be better, do better. You want to leave this earth a better place for our kids and for the people that are going to be coming onto this earth after us. What kind of example are we setting if that's what we're doing on social media? Our society will continue to devolve and continue to go backwards because people think it's okay to speak to other people, whether it's radio hosts or professional athletes, and not have any type of consequence whatsoever. The Twitter tough guys and the keyboard warriors, it has to stop. There's too many examples of it. We got to be better. We have to. It's imperative. Let's do better. I mean, my goodness, you can still cheer for your team, go crazy, do what you got to do, but sending racist messages to people, I challenge you, go through your timeline. You'll see it. It's awful. It's awful. We got to be better. Got to be better. All right. Moving on to the next topic, and I wanted to talk about this on Monday, but it wasn't. There was so much to go into on Monday. Um, Speaking about Randy Rosarena, talking about the Bucks, talking about the just Monday Night Raw recap, and before you knew it, 45 minutes was in the can. I said, "Holy smokes, we got to move on." But tonight, I wanted to pose a question: who is the better heel, Dominic Mysterio or Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF? Is it Dominic Mysterio or Maxwell Jacob Freeman? Who's the better heel? Is it Dirty Dom or MJF? Is it the WWE's guy or the AEW guy? Now, let's start with Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom. And we were introduced to Dominic Mysterio through his dad, Rey Mysterio, Hall of Famer, the best luchador of all time, one of the best underdogs that we've ever seen in wrestling history. Still to this day gets a pop every single time he shows his face around the world. Even ironically enough, he's under a mask, but he's a guy that gets such a loud pot. He gets such a loud pop every single time he shows up at a WWE event. Um, just a great all around guy. You can't boo Rey Mysterio. You can't. So when his son Dom eventually turned on him, he was making a big decision. He knew that things were going to change, and that's exactly what happened. He joins up with the Judgment Day, and we could see Dominic Mysterio just growing before our eyes. Listen, he learned on the job. This isn't a guy that was on the indies or went to NXT. Like, he learned on the job at WWE with his dad in a tag team. They were champs, and then thrown right into one of the biggest storylines in wrestling with the Judgment Day. And the evolution of his character has been phenomenal. He is one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the game right now. And the one thing I love about Dominic Mysterio is that there's nothing like cool about him being a heel. He is a guy that every single time he puts the microphone to his face, he gets booed. It doesn't matter where he is in the country, out of the country. Everyone is booing Dom Mysterio. And now turning on Rhea Ripley and siding with Liv Morgan, it gives people even more of a reason to hate Dominic Mysterio. There's no redeeming qualities about him. He talks about Rey Mysterio as his deadbeat dad. He does the Eddie Guerrero. He does the frog splash. And if you remember that storyline years ago, where Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio battled for the custody of Dominic, only in the WWE would you have storylines like that. But he is on an absolute heater right now. And he is a guy that every single time he steps up and steps into the ring and grabs that microphone, he elicits a very, very strong reaction. And I wonder if he's the top heel in the game right now. Now, if you don't believe Dom Mysterio is, you may think that Maxwell Jacob Friedman is. MJF, a guy that we saw debuting early on with AEW. He was with Cody Rhodes. He turns on Cody Rhodes, and he was a heel pretty much for the rest of the way until he teamed up with Adam Cole, baby. And eventually, Adam Cole turns on him, which I don't know if that was a good move or a bad move. And what has happened since then, they really haven't capitalized on that. But for that little while there, you were kind of waiting for MJF to turn on Adam Cole, but he was kind of a babyface. But since he's come back after missing some time due to injury, he was kind of a babyface. Then he turns on Daniel Garcia, and after Tombstone pile driving Daniel Garcia off the top rope, then he's a full fledged heel again. And we watched during AEW's All In over the weekend in Wembley that he was the heel, wearing full United States of America garb against Will Ospreay over on the other side of the pond in England. And he has got that old school heel down to a T. He's kind of the modern day Roddy Piper. He's very loud, very boisterous, not afraid to use vulgarities and profanities. Um, he is really respected by a lot of old school wrestling guys that look at him and say that kid is going to be a super duper star. He probably already is a super duper star. He's already been the AEW World Champion. He's still young, but I wonder, is he the best heel in the game? Because he still says things like the greatest place in the world, Long Island, New York. And when he goes to Long Island, he gets cheered. And I still think some people look at Max like he's kind of the cool heel. So does that take something away from his character? Possibly. Not saying that he's not great at what he does, because he is. And I've said this on the show before. I want my heels to be complete dicks, bad guys, no good, rotten. I don't want them to have any redeeming qualities whatsoever. I don't want anybody cheering for them. I don't care if they're in their own hometown. He even came back tonight in his first address after losing to Will Ospreay, and he kind of like he just kind of disowned America. He's like, forget that, forget being from here, forget you guys supporting me as like the American champion. And I like that. I mean, you're a heel. You should do that. But then on the other hand, I don't want him saying, yeah, the most beautiful place in the world, Long Island, New York. So then when you go to Long Island, then he's not a heel. So he kind of loses a little something for me. Kind of loses a little bit. But when you look at what he's able to do and the old school heel tactics that he uses in matches, like the kid, he's a prodigy. I mean, you may not like it, he may not be your cup of tea, but you you can't deny that he's been in a ton of good matches. You can't deny that a lot of people that have been veterans in this game that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years look at him and they all heap a huge mountain of praise on him. This guy is destined for great things. I'm a little surprised that he re-signed with AEW. The bidding war of 2024, he teased that a couple years ago. I thought he was a shoe in to go to WWE. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see if he could carry over that heel persona over to WWE. And this is before they made the Netflix deal. I was wondering if he could still do the job at a high level when he couldn't be so boisterous and be so vulgar. Because you see at times he's not afraid to, you know, throw a bunch of four-letter words out there to just remind everybody that he's a heel and he doesn't want to get cheered for. But two talented guys, 100%. And with wrestling being as hot as it is right now, um, there's room for both these companies. And I think it's a great question. Who is the better heel? Is it Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio, or MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. Quote, tweet it, tweet at them, see what they have to say, because I think it's a damn good question. All right, going to finish up Retro Reacts tonight with kind of a follow up on an announcement I made earlier today. I will be throwing out the first pitch before the Rays Twins matchup on Monday night at Tropicana Field. I know it is Labor Day, September 2nd, but go get you some tickets. RaysBaseball.com/S Erickson. That's ERICKSON. You can get 20% off your tickets. We're going to be on the field before the game for batting practice, and I'm going to throw the first pitch out at about 6:30. First pitch is for the game is 6:50. But my first pitch, the ceremonial first pitch, will be at 6:30. I've got something special in store for everybody there. I'm not just going to go up there and throw it. I'm going to do something a little funky. And no, I don't care if I overthrow the catcher or I bounce it. I really don't care. I'm trying to throw hard. If I get hurt, I get hurt. So be it. And shout out to my guy Ryan Pepio, Ray's right-hander. He said he's going to catch for me. Hopefully, he's not pitching that day, um, because we did see a little bit of a change in the starting rotation. We'll see, but I cannot wait, and I really hope that as many of my friends and family can make it out there on Monday, September 2nd, to watch me do something that it's got to be a dream of mine, and something you can cross off the bucket list. I'm the last person at WDAE to be able to do this, and I'm so grateful that the Rays gave me an opportunity because if you don't know, I was supposed to throw out the first pitch back on June 26th, but unfortunately, I went into the hospital that day for a couple days. I had some inflammation in my knee, and it was bad. I also had some chest pain, so I had to do a bunch of tests. I was still trying to go out there. Like I was in the shower that morning, like trying to like see if I can stretch. I got on the bed when I got out of the shower. My knee, I had three kneecaps. Like it was bad. It was rough. So the fact that the Rays gave me another opportunity to do that, I'm super grateful. So thank you so much to Sarah Erickson and everybody with the Tampa Bay Rays to get that opportunity. It means the world to me, and I know it'll mean the world to my family. And can't wait to take some video and all that jazz. It should be a lot of fun. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. Thanks if you go back and watch this. Again, follow me on all social media platforms: Twitter/X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow me at JRetcher. Like and subscribe right here on YouTube. And yeah, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know every single time we go live. I'll be probably live again tomorrow night as well. It's now Thursday, early Thursday morning, 27 minutes past midnight. And yeah, I'm going to go cut up some videos and get ready for bed. But I appreciate everybody out there and all the support. Pat and Aaron live at 6 a.m. tomorrow. No Jay and Zach at noon. We're filling in for Tom Krasnicki on the drive at 3 p.m. 3 to 6 tomorrow. We've got Rondé Barber joining us on the show. We've got Alex Golish joining us on the show. So a Hall of Famer with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the head coach of the USF football team. Yeah, big show, big show tomorrow. And we cannot wait to talk all things sports with you. All right, go get some sleep. I'm going to go do the same. We'll see you next time right here on Recher Reacts. Peace out.